Jeremy Epstein is co-founder of Virginia Verified Voting and one of many computer experts who had warned about the security flaws. He says there's no evidence that anyone has ever exploited them, but if they did, there's also no way to tell. And he says there's lots of room for mischief.
To change the list.
That was just a portion of an interview between NPR's Pam Fessler and the co-founder of Virginia Verified Voting, Jeremy Epstein. That interview follows the report yesterday that 20% of the touchscreen voting machines used in Virginia during last November's election have some major security concerns. That prompts the question, what will that mean for the future of ballot security using computer terminals to cast votes? For more on the story, we're very pleased to be joined via Skype by the attorney and professor of Bentley University, Stephen J.J. Weisman, and I believe by telephone, my old college chum, Jay DeLancy, who is the director of the Voter Integrity Project, and of course, staying with us from Newsmax New York is our good friend Ellis Hennigan. To you all, our thanks. This whole thing about the voting in Virginia, Jay DeLancy, since you're down in North Carolina, geographically, you're close to the story. Have there been real concerns in the Commonwealth to your north there in Virginia?
Well, yes. Good morning, JD and team. This machine was used in Virginia long after the EAC, the U.S. Election Assistance Commission, had decertified the machine. And so there are some serious questions about why Virginia didn't fix this back in 2007 when the EAC when they notified everybody they were getting rid of this machine. So this is a bigger story than just Virginia.
So, Steve, maybe you can help us with something. I go to the bank, I use my ATM, I take out $100. The bank never forgets. Their records are always better than mine. They never forget that I took that money out of my account. Why can't we make voting machines that'll work? I mean, they're made by the same companies that make the ATMs. What's the fundamental problem here?
Well, first of all, the ATMs can get hacked too, but you are right. The problem, these machines can be made safer, but frankly, it was the way they were being used in Virginia that made them particularly vulnerable. What they were able to be hacked into because in Virginia, they never changed the passwords. They were using admin for the administrator. They were using ABCDE as a password, things that were so easy to hack into. So the machines, yes, the machines are faulty, and they stopped using them in Mississippi and Tennessee, but the manner in which Virginia was using them was even more of a problem.
Jay DeLancy from the Voter Integrity Project. I'm kind of curious. What is the best method for voting? Is it the paper ballot, or are there systems that employ high tech and high security that are worth looking at?
Well, we like the paper ballot best because the voter has one last chance to confirm the intent, his or her intent as they submit the ballot. So there is, I'm told, I haven't seen it, North Carolina doesn't use it, but Virginia does. They use a machine that actually prints out a ballot that the voter then takes and walks over to a tabulation machine and loads that ballot into the machine. We would support that kind of DRE that actually marks the ballot for the voter and then hands the voter the ballot. So the voter has one last chance to look at it and go, oh, no, that's not what I meant. But with the current, in North Carolina, in fact, my state is getting rid of DRE totally. They had a bill, they're negotiating a bill as far as when to do it, but House Bill 373 in North Carolina is giving them a little more time because they last session they passed a bill to get rid of all these touchscreen voting machines, and then they realized, wait, this is an unfunded mandate, so they're slipping the deadline a little bit, but we're getting rid of them entirely and going with the scannable paper ballots because the voters believe in them more.
Jay, Jay, I hear your frustration. It seems like we ought to be able to come up with a system that works. But Steve, doesn't it have to involve some kind of modern technology? I mean, everything else in our society has gone away from paper and into, frankly, more reliable technology. Don't we eventually have to get there with voting as well?
I think ultimately.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think ultimately
Go
we
ahead,
do.
Steve.
I think the idea of combining that technology with a paper ballot, as was just described, is a good, viable way to do it, and particularly for less sophisticated, older voters who may be uncomfortable with the computer.
Let me, there's one question I have to shift for just a second, because a story that's on our parent website, newsmax.com, questions arising about drones and robots supposedly designed to protect and defend now being turned against us by those who want to hack and attack the U.S. Stephen J.J. Weisman, what does this say about our overall cybersecurity?
I think it's just another indication that anything in what we call the Internet of Things, so much is connected with the Internet in some fashion and high tech that the security hasn't been built in sufficiently. There was frankly an article 3 years ago in Popular Science magazine showing how drones could be hacked into. Iran hacked into one of our drones and managed to get it to land. This is a real serious problem as drones start to be used not just militarily but in commerce as well. And it goes back to the lack of security built into so many of the systems that we use.
Well, they're definitely troubling issues. But finally, Jay, I mean, can we make friends? Security versus electronic, computer, digital technology? I mean, we're stuck with both of them, aren't we?
Well, the concept, Ellis, is black box voting.
30 seconds, too, if you will.
Okay. The narrative, the most important goal is to get as many people to believe in a system so they'll vote and participate. And every time they've tried internet voting and field tests in different municipalities, participation goes down because people believe it's too easily hacked. And so there's that balance between technology and trust. And yeah, okay, I admit younger people are dumber and they would accept it just on face value, but the bottom line is it can be hacked and people know it intuitively. So we have to have a system that balances trust versus accuracy and efficiency and all that.
And we will have to leave it there. Gentlemen, you have our thanks. And now let's find out what's happening with our weather, a national weather update.
Hi, I'm Jessica Reyes with your weather from coast to coast, and we're going to kick things off with some good news because it's Friday and we always love that. Coastal cooling across the southwestern portion of the country, mainly sunny skies and a lot warmer into Palm Springs. And then we've got the bad news. Since yesterday and even into today, we've been dealing with its flooding potential, road closures, poor visibility, and flight delays. Houston in the eye of all of us, New Orleans as well, and so is Pensacola, Florida. So the Florida Panhandle in the eye of all of these flooding downpours and showers and thunderstorms. Most of it continues moving across the southeastern portion of the country, even into the Carolinas and extending into the Virginias. And then throughout this weekend, we're expecting more of it because this system continues stalled within that area. Actually, this low pressure bringing with it, as I mentioned earlier, rain, flooding, and showers and thunderstorms. Here are some of your daytime highs for your Friday.
Thanks very much for that update, Jessica. We'll have to grab an umbrella. Now, I need to grab your attention. A programming note, America's Forum next week only airs starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. So make that note and stay with us.